This is where it gets fun. This is where I come alive.
A lot to say. We're just ready to show up, and Jake's in good shape. His mind is very locked in and focused for this. So, we're all looking forward to this. So.
Jake Paul is fully engaged in an intense heavyweight training camp in Miami ahead of his December 19th bout against Anthony Joshua. He has enlisted elite sparring partners to simulate Joshua's size and power while working closely with top coaches. Specialized therapists and advanced training tools are integrated into his regimen to maximize strength, speed, and strategic precision. Each session emphasizes refining technique, boosting endurance, and preparing mentally, ensuring Paul is ready for the toughest challenge of his career and approaching the fight with complete focus and determination. Jake Paul's training camp ahead of his fight with Anthony Joshua reflects a level of dedication few can truly grasp. According to his coach, much of the effort and sacrifice Jake invests goes unnoticed. Long hours in the gym, rigorous conditioning routines, and meticulous attention to technique are all part of the grind that fans rarely see. His coach emphasizes that the public often overlooks the preparation required to compete at the highest level, especially against a fighter of Joshua's stature. Jake's commitment is total. Physical exhaustion and mental strain are constants in his daily regimen. Yet, he pushes through each session with determination, demonstrating a seriousness that transcends spectacle.
People don't realize how much is sacrificed in the camp, and Jake sacrificed a lot to get ready for the last fight on top of releasing the new brand W, and so he needed a break. And so we took a month off, got right back in there, and now we're getting ready for Mike, and we're not as heavy as we were before, which is a plus for us. I didn't want us to go back up, but you can guarantee he's gonna be ready to fight now. I think in the last 6 weeks, you've seen Jake slowly tighten himself up and get himself prepared, and he's really locked in now. So what we've been able to see is Jake evolve into the gladiator. He's slowly evolving into the gladiator that he has to become for fight night. About time he finishes the camp and goes through everything he needs to go through, by that night, he'll be fully prepared. His outer shell that he needs to be able to go in there and be the gladiator for the night, he'll have that ready. And that's what you see happening now. That's the process in which we're in now.
Every element of his training is aimed at achieving a singular goal: victory against a proven former champion. Analysts note that Jake's mental preparation is as important as his physical work. He visualizes each scenario, anticipates challenges, and structures his sessions to reinforce confidence while addressing weaknesses. This mental conditioning ensures that he remains composed under pressure and can execute strategies without hesitation when the stakes are highest. Paul's psychological readiness underscores a maturity that has evolved over successive fights, marking him as more than just a social media celebrity turned boxer.
I love this built for this Enjoy the process, enjoy the moment. When it's over, I'm gonna be missing these moments.
145. Let's go back to stand.
Sparring partners play a crucial role in Jake Paul's preparation. According to those in his camp, Paul has consistently tested himself against experienced boxers, sometimes defeating them and sending them home to emphasize the difference in skill and determination. The current focus on Anthony Joshua as an opponent represents the first challenge in his training that mirrors the size and power Paul will face in the ring. Sparring partners observe that this is exactly what Jake seeks: an opponent capable of pushing him to his limits, forcing him to adapt and refine his strategies. The sparring process allows him to practice responses under pressure, refine defensive maneuvers, and experiment with offensive combinations that could prove crucial against a heavyweight of Joshua's caliber.
Tell us about your training with Jake Paul, when that was, how much sparring you did with him.
So training with Jake Paul, I got to understand how he was as a fighter. He was new into the boxing. He was developing at a very quick rate. This guy trained his ass off. Like, we would spar twice a week in the hot ass gym in Puerto Rico. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. Dude, when I tell you Jake was beating up all these professional boxers who was sparring them, it was just one of those, like, bro, he was whooping their ass and sending them home. That same night, he said he told everybody bluntly, "I'm saying you, and Hall. Only person thing is this guy Anthony." And he was like, "The reason why, because this motherfucker's coming here and giving me work that I need. None of y'all is giving me the work y'all need. I'm beating y'all ass and y'all get out."
Tony Jeffries, a respected boxing trainer, highlights the unparalleled intensity of Jake Paul's current camp. He emphasizes that this is not a standard training regimen. Rather, it mirrors preparations typically reserved for Olympic-level athletes. Paul employs cutting-edge equipment, highly specialized conditioning techniques, and personalized coaching that addresses every aspect of performance. The camp is designed to develop not only physical strength, but also speed, endurance, and technical proficiency, providing a comprehensive approach to elite-level boxing preparation. Jeffries notes that Paul's regimen enables him to adapt quickly to new challenges and maintain a competitive edge early in the fight. Unlike traditional boxing camps, which may focus heavily on one aspect of performance, this comprehensive approach ensures that Paul is well-rounded and prepared for the multifaceted challenges he will encounter against Joshua. The intensity and sophistication of this environment underscore Paul's commitment to success at the highest level.
Great strength training for explosive power, slamming that ball against the wall and rotating, just like you'd be throwing a hook. You see there, he's caught it, he's pulled it back, turning into it, boom. We also see he's getting in an ice bath here. Now, ice baths is not just good for recovery, helping with the inflammation in your body after what you've been putting it through, but it's also good for the mental side of things. Because when you go in an ice bath, everything in your mind is saying, get out of here, what are you doing? So you've got to get past that part of your mind that's telling you that and push through it. So it's great for your mindset as well. Now, one more thing I just want to add with Jake Paul's training before I give you a recap on it. We always see him training. Look, he's got like a group of people around him. There's cameramen there, there's coaches there, all spurring him on. Now, boxing is normally a very lonely sport. When you're in the gym, it's normally you and your coach. Unless you're dealing with a group of people, it's harder for you to get the one-on-one attention that you need. So when you're fighting as a pro, when I was fighting as a pro, it was often just me and my coach. Sometimes there will be another guy in there as well. Sometimes my dad would come, which really helped push me through the session. But when my friends did ever come, maybe one session here and there, that spurred me on even more to get the most out of us. As we see here, he's got people around him all the time. Cameramen, coaches, friends, strength and conditioning coaches, his boxing coach, and he's just his full team around him who's getting paid. What that does is help the fighter, in this case Jake, get more out of the sessions rather than being there by himself, which I think is great. When I was training for the Olympics, we had that sort of support around us and it was amazing. But when I turned pro, that went out the window because you've got to pay for that support. So now my final thoughts on Jake Paul's boxing training. There isn't anything I can pull apart here. Everything he's doing is at the highest level.
Dan Rafael, a veteran boxing analyst, observes significant growth in Jake Paul's skills since his fight with Tommy Fury. Rafael notes improvements in technique, stamina, and tactical awareness, highlighting that Paul has developed a more nuanced understanding of in-ring dynamics. However, Rafael also cautions that despite these improvements, the scale of the challenge posed by Joshua remains formidable. Paul's progress demonstrates that he is capable of learning and evolving, but analysts emphasize that the upcoming fight will test his ability to integrate these lessons under intense pressure. Rafael's perspective underscores the balance between optimism and realism. While Paul has clearly advanced as a fighter, facing a former unified champion requires flawless execution and strategic thinking. This evaluation reflects a measured appreciation of Paul's efforts and the recognition that professional growth is a continuous process, especially when approaching a fight with historical significance. The Wade Concept host provides a critical analysis of Paul's mindset, cautioning against overconfidence. While self-belief is crucial in combat sports, there is a line where confidence can tip into denial. Analysts warn that Paul may be approaching this threshold, relying too heavily on faith in his abilities rather than confronting the realities posed by Joshua's experience and power. The host stresses that entering the ring with delusion can be dangerous, highlighting the importance of realistic preparation alongside psychological resilience.
In reach as well, but he's actively like, yes, I am going to knock out AJ. And in any other timeline, we'd all point and laugh, and some people still are pointing and laughing, but I'm just sitting here going, what has he seen that makes him believe that? Not only of what's happened to AJ, sure, he's been knocked out by Daniel Dubois, another 240-pound champion of the world. But what has he seen in himself that makes him think he's going to knock out AJ when he hasn't knocked out anyone since Mike Perry? And Mike Perry, as we know, is not a high-level boxer. He hasn't knocked out a high-level boxer. He could hurt Julio Cesar Chavez, but Chavez knew to cover up and not engage. Maybe he thinks AJ will engage with him, and AJ does do some bad things in the pocket. Again, we'll save it for another video, but the only thing I can think of, and I said it at the beginning of this video, is Jake is absolutely delusional, and he's convinced himself of what's going to happen based on very outlying data, right? The Daniel Dubois knockout, how he struggled with Usyk.
Hey, who are you fighting when and why?
I'm fighting Anthony Joshua because I'm fucking him.
What?
I'm fighting Anthony Joshua because I'm him.
Holy shit, just let me take a second.
Is this motherfucker out of Dude, it's light work. Light work. Well, at least my good old friend Tyson Fury believes that I can win.
If Jake Paul fights Anthony Joshua, I'm putting £1 million on Jake Paul. I want some free money.
Smart man, Tyson.
I need to see a bet slip, Tyson. I know you got it like that these days. $1 million's like a, you know, like a slight 10,000 to the rest of us, but or maybe 1,000 after those couple of title fights with Alexander Usyk. But I need to see the bet slip. I saw the line when, and this is kind of crazy. I saw the line when the fight first got made, and we put it in the video. Jake was plus 800 to win. Jake has now moved to plus 650 to win. That's outright. I don't know by knockout. I'm not sure, but plus 800 was already like, okay, that's, you know, that's a big underdog. And Joshua was like minus 1,500, but now Joshua's at minus 1,250 and Jake's at plus 650. This line is closing, and I'm wondering why. What are people seeing?
Make no mistake, this is the biggest fight of my career. I'm walking into the lion's den. I'm doing something that no one else has ever done before. I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Anthony Joshua Friday, December 19th, live on Netflix. My voice cracked, I'm still going through puberty. The biggest fight of 2025, USA versus UK. He's got the belts, the size, the history, but I have the balls. Be careful what you wish for. Jake versus Joshua, Judgment Day. He has a 90% knockout ratio, but I have a 100% chance of drinking this Celsius.
Okay, there we go. Ads only. Yeah, I mean, having balls is good when it comes to making a fight like this, when it comes to, you know, putting yourself out there and again, just operating on self-belief, but it isn't going to win Jake this fight. Him being ballsy is not going to win him this fight. Like, him making the decision to take this fight is ballsy. And we can all say it, and we have said it, and I feel like it's starting to become a thing where it's like, that's the only thing we're saying. I feel like everybody is just pointing out that Jake has big balls for doing this, and that's a ballsy move. And that's correct, but we established that already. So now let's talk about the fight itself. What about Jake's ballsiness is going to win him this fight? The fact that he wants to throw, the fact that he'll mix it up, that may be the worst thing that Jake could do is mix it up with Anthony Joshua, because again, you get into 50-50s with a guy that can crack like he can, 90% finish rate. He'll put you on the canvas. He's done it to so many other heavyweights. And yes, AJ sometimes is the one that gets clipped in exchanges like that, with the left hook especially, but we'll do a more comprehensive breakdown in the future.
Former champion Carl Froch emphasizes the high stakes for both competitors. Joshua's legacy is on the line, with any misstep potentially inviting intense scrutiny from fans and media. Conversely, Paul's rising profile depends on proving that he can face a legitimate professional challenge and emerge credible in the eyes of boxing purists. Froch frames the matchup as a pivotal moment for both athletes, representing a crossroads where reputation, skill, and career trajectory converge. Froch notes that the fight is not just about physical confrontation. It is a test of consistency, composure, and the ability to perform under immense pressure. The implications extend beyond the outcome of a single fight, influencing long-term perceptions of both fighters and their standing in the sport.
I don't know, but fake Paul is not a step in the direction of becoming world champion again. There's many people who could box. He's not going to make that kind of money, so let's just be honest with anybody else. So let's just be straight up honest about it. He's doing it all for the money. It's all about the money. I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished in boxing, he needs to retire. That's just my opinion, that's just my truth. I think he's done in heavyweight boxing at an elite competitive level. So that makes sense. I've been vindicated. He's now fighting fake Paul in what will be a massive mismatch. If this is correct and it's 10-ounce gloves in a professional boxing rules, 8 3-minute rounds, it's not going to go 2 rounds, is it? It shouldn't do. It shouldn't last a round. But We're going to have to wait and see, aren't we? It's hard to get your head around. It's hard to know what to say about this. AJ's obviously excited about it, about making some serious bunts. And Jake Paul's telling us that he's going to shut all the haters up by jumping in there with AJ. So what is actually going off? We're not going to know, are we, until the fight actually, till the first bell goes. We're not going to know what's actually behind all this. And we can't start throwing accusations of any sort of skullduggery going off, because we've got to take it at face value. It's not an exhibition, so nothing's pre-scripted. This is a professional boxing match that you can make bets on. So it's got to be a real fight. And if AJ goes in there with them little 10-ounce gloves on and throws the Ngannou 1-2 down the middle, I'm talking about the one that rendered Ngannou unconscious and almost snapped his leg. And Ngannou's a decent fighter in the cage. You know, he's a good MMA fighter, and you saw him, he took Tyson Fury, what did he take him, 8, 9, was it 10 rounds? Can't remember how long it was, but he took him the distance and lost a close decision. So he's quite capable, but AJ's a big punching heavyweight, and Fake Paul's never been in with a heavyweight.
Boxing analyst Joey Knight highlights the commercial motivations underpinning Jake Paul's choice of opponent. According to Knight, Paul is acutely aware that high-profile bouts generate massive attention, both globally and financially. Facing a celebrated former champion like Joshua ensures media coverage, audience engagement, and revenue generation at a scale rarely accessible to other fighters at his stage. This strategic consideration complements Paul's physical and mental preparation, reflecting a holistic approach to career growth that balances sport and business acumen. Knight's analysis underscores that modern boxing involves more than in-ring performance. Strategic decision-making regarding opponents, timing, and publicity plays a critical role in shaping a fighter's career trajectory, with financial outcomes often influencing choices alongside competitive considerations.
Can make a lot of cash, maybe not as much as the Anthony Joshua fight, but a lot of cash, and can still have a serious chance of going on to earn even more paydays. Whereas the damage that it could do to his body could be irreversible for that opportunity to earn money in a boxing career going forward. So is this the retirement bag, or do you actually think you can win? Because I read a study recently, and I believe it said something along the lines of men overemphasize or overcalculate their ability to fight by about 500 times. And I'm saying Jake Paul would probably need to be 500 times better to stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I can't get how he doesn't already know this. Surely he has sparred with heavyweights. Surely the recent sparring that he had with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and with the likes of Ray Ford, amongst others, Badu Jack, surely that would have taught you that there are levels to boxing. And if these small guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring, what happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin? The whole reason of why I know where I am in the influencer boxing scene, in the misfit scene, is because of the level that I have sparred at. I've sparred boys that have gone on to box for world titles. I've sparred with English champions, and I've sparred with loads of Southern area champions.
Legendary ring announcer Michael Buffer emphasizes the cultural significance of the Paul brothers in modern boxing. He observes that Jake and Logan Paul have drawn a younger audience into the sport, generating excitement and cultivating a new fan base. Buffer praises their ability to create compelling narratives, build anticipation, and attract widespread viewership. By bringing attention to boxing through a combination of athletic performance and media presence, the Paul brothers have contributed to the sport's renewed visibility, demonstrating the impact of strategic branding alongside athletic prowess.
Well, Jake and Logan, first of all, are fantastic athletes. You know what Logan does with the WWE and what Jake does with boxing. He knocks people out and everything. And they both have massive fan bases. And for me, it's great to see people get young people that follow them that didn't have, like, you know, they don't remember Ali or Joe Frazier or whatever. It's not in their wheelhouse. So it's great to see them developing fight fans and a big fight atmosphere. So it's very exciting.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.